I was at a conference the other day, and during the lunch hour, sitting around a table, my wife was with me, and next to me was a pastor, and we just started a conversation. We vaguely knew each other, didn't know each other well, trying to get more acquainted, and I asked him about his ministry, and he began to tell me how that God had laid it on his heart to start working with the homeless, and he was trying to get a hold of one of these shower setups where you can have it on a trailer and you take it to a certain location, and people can come and take showers and things. And then he was wanting to, or he was partnering with other ministries who would feed them and different things. Well, I thought that was tremendous, and I said to him, I says, "How long has this burden been on your heart?" He says, "Oh, not very long." He said, "Never occurred to me that I would be involved in a ministry like this." He said, "It just wasn't something that was on my radar, but God laid it there." See, this is what I've been talking about this week. He said, in the harvest, there's much work to be done, and there are many needs. The needs are great and becoming greater all the time. But because so many have disengaged from the church, we're finding ourselves just being overwhelmed. We need help. And what that says to me is that I believe that every saint, every Christian has a calling in their life. Some people have buried it. They've just pushed it away. And then there are some who have reasoned out why they cannot do this. And a lot of times it's just simply this. They say, "Well, I don't know how. I don't think I have the skills to do it." Well, I'm of the opinion that God would not lay a burden on your heart that he would not equip you to do. I believe that God will reward those with the ability to find out how to get it done if the person will just say, "Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord." It's interesting to me, I talked about Ananias the day before yesterday on the broadcast. He's the one that God spoke to go to Saul and lay hands upon him. And his first reaction was, he said, "Lord, that man is a dangerous man to us Christians. He has hauled us in before the courts. He's had people killed." And God said, "Don't worry about that. He's in my hands now." And Ananias had to get out of his comfort zone to go lay hands on this man who Christ had said to him, says, "He will suffer much for me, and I will show him his work and his calling." Well, you see, Ananias had a calling too, and that calling was to go and do what God had told him to do. And I believe that calling is for all of us, to go and do what God has called us to do. "Press toward the mark," he said, "of the prize of the high calling of Christ Jesus." What is that high calling in your life? What is that thing that God has laid upon your heart, this burden? I don't think we can just throw it off. I think we have to hear the voice of God. We have to be faithful, and we have to respond to it, because, as Jesus said, the harvest is great, but unfortunately the laborers are few. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.